A NATO Foreign Ministers meeting is in its second day at the alliance's headquarters in Brussels. On the agenda is Ukraine's path to membership and military support in its war with Russia. NATO Chief Mark Rutte has urged allies to step up their military aid to strengthen Kyiv's position should it enter negotiations with Moscow over an end to the war. Well, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is pleading for more weaponry urgently from Western allies. He says reinforcements are vital along the front line in eastern Ukraine, where Russian forces have made gains in recent months. Both the US and Germany have already announced more military aid to Kyiv this week, totaling some $1.4 billion.
Significant reinforcements are needed in the Donetsk directions, and this includes arms supplies from our partners. It is a direct dependence. The greater our army's firepower is, the more technological capabilities we have, the more effectively we can destroy Russia's offensive potential and protect our warriors' lives.
Let's speak now to Pavel Felgenhauer. He's a defense and military analyst. He joins us now from Moscow. Thank you for your time. Faced with an incoming Trump administration, a NATO membership would presumably put Ukraine in a much stronger position. How concerned do you think Russia is about this possibility?
Well, for Russia, that Ukrainian NATO membership has been and is now totally unacceptable. Basically, this whole conflict began and is continuing because Russia wants to prevent that. The Russian official position is that Ukraine should be a neutral country, and this neutrality should be guaranteed, put into Ukrainian constitution. And of course, that's right now unacceptable for Ukraine. So Russia would not accept that. It would be a casus belli, basically. Most likely right now, there will be no NATO membership for Ukraine, though they're asking for it. Right now, everyone's going to be most likely waiting what the actual position will be of the new American administration.
Would Russia take on the NATO military if it came down to it?
Well, of course, Russia says it will, though I would believe that both sides would want to avoid the direct clash. Russia is, of course, a nuclear power. There are three nuclear powers within NATO: United States, France, and England. And that's really not a nuclear confrontation in Europe isn't something no one really wants at all. So I would believe that right now this is, though possible, but more or less remote.
How do you think President Putin views the incoming Trump administration? Because he's been relatively quiet, hasn't he, since that election victory?
Well, there has been hopes in Moscow that the Trump administration, that their attitude will change, that Trump, of course, promised that there's going to be a very rapid ceasefire end of the conflict in Ukraine. Russia is not against that, but of course it wants to end the conflict on terms that is favorable for Russia. And so right now, no one totally knows what's going to be the Trump actual position. They're most likely working it out. Today's meeting in Brussels is with the United States' representative Antony Blinken, who's the outgoing Secretary of State. So that means this is going to be a kind of provisional meeting. Everyone's waiting. What will Trump put on the table?
Do you think Trump knows what he's going to be putting on the table?
It's not clear again because he announced those who are going to negotiate on Ukraine. But what will be the actual terms, the magic formula that can stop this conflict? A ceasefire, a freeze on the present lines. But again, neither Ukraine, neither Russia says they want a freeze. They say that's untenable. So it's a very complicated situation. Everyone's waiting what kind of formula Trump is going to put forward.
Okay. Thank you for that. Pavel Felgenhauer, defense and military analyst, joining us there from Moscow.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.